Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is the makeup look that I'm doing for you today, and I hope it will be really helpful for you. It's just my quick go-to. Needing to go somewhere in a hurry, this is just the makeup that I kind of throw on really quickly. A lot of it is things that I can do with my hands and don't necessarily require brushes, although I love brushes. It's just not always the easiest thing with a little one these days. So I just wanted to do this video for you so that way you had a good idea of my routine, and if you have any questions just let me know, but let's get into the tutorial. Okay, let's get started. I've got a clip. I'm going to pull my hair back just a little bit, get it out of my face, and I'm going to talk you through what I'm doing, and then I'll also tell you a couple of other things I've been doing here lately. The first thing I like to do is take a little spoolie brush. You can get these off of Amazon or anywhere, and just run through my eyebrows where I've slipped. They usually get all over the place, and I usually have some spare eyebrows kind of all over the place too. I usually will do one of two things. If I'm just like around the house and want something to even out my skin tone, I use the Bobbi Brown BB cream. It's got a little bit more coverage than just like a regular BB cream that you would find at the grocery store that I have found. But it also has an SPF 35, so if I go for a walk, we're covered with SPF. If I am actually going out somewhere, if I'm going to the store, I will use right now the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation. My dog just came in the room, sorry. Also, if you hear like a whirring noise in the background, hopefully you can't. It is my baby's sound machine. She's taking a nap, and I've got the monitor right here, so if you see me looking down, I'm just checking to make sure she's good. But I'm going to go ahead and use this today. This is a fuller coverage. It is water-based, so it's not like crazy amount of coverage, and it does still have an SPF of 15. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. It has got a dropper, and I usually do just a couple of little drops on the back of my hand. Not too much these days. And I do find that once upon a time, my whole makeup routine used to take a lot longer to do, and then since I've had a baby, I've condensed it a lot, and I'm slowly but surely adding steps to it. Before, I would have never put on foundation with my fingers. I would have always used a brush, but my fingers are a lot quicker these days, so that's what I've been doing. So I just start by doing a foundation. As we work into the summertime, I sometimes will use a primer, or just if I'm needing it to last a little bit longer. I live in Georgia, so the oppressive heat that we have during the summer, I find that if I don't use a primer, my makeup doesn't last very long at all, regardless of how long wearing it is. So my favorite primer is the Smashbox Photo Finish. This is in the pore minimizing. I don't have huge pores going across here, but I just find that that one helps to smooth out any lines that I may have. Like I've got little forehead lines. And I just feel like it helps to give me a good even complexion, and it helps things to last a lot longer. I find that my makeup wants to rub off like around my nose and my mouth. Like if I don't use a primer, then it's usually gone by like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And sometimes I will use it now. It just depends on my mood. But yeah, in the summertime, I definitely use it more so. So I've just done a really, really light coating of that. And I just really try to make sure that I blended everything in. And then I will go in, and I always use the eye primer if I'm going to be doing eyeshadow primer at all. And right now the one I'm liking the most is the MAC Prep and Prime 24-Hour Extend Eye Base. And I found that if I use too much of this, then it's not a good thing, and it has too much, like it just doesn't mattify things as well. So I do just a little tiny bit on my ring finger. I rub it between 2 fingers, and then I go right onto my eyelids with it. And I go all the way from the bottoms to right underneath my eyebrows. And I do like to let that set for just a minute. And while I'm doing that, I'll go in with my eyebrows. And my eyebrows they have a lot of hair in certain places, and then in other places they don't like to grow. So my favorite way to fill in my eyebrows is actually with a powder, but I have found that it just takes too much time at the moment with a baby. So I've currently been using the Bobbi Brown eyebrow pencil, and this is in the color Blonde. It's a little bit warm for my eyebrows, But I find that I just kind of run it through and then I run that little spoolie over it afterwards, and it ends up being fine in the long run. But like I said, my favorite is to use a little angled brush and powder. And if I do other makeup tutorials, I'll definitely show you how I like to do that. But this one right now has just been the quickest and the easiest. If for some reason I needed to get ready really in a hurry, the only thing I would do would be concealer, mascara, and a little bit of cream blush. And I'll show you that in just a minute too. For the first couple of weeks starting out as a new mom, I was just really using products that didn't require a brush, just because it was easier for me to get everything done on the go particularly. And I just kept everything in a small makeup bag that I could grab, and I could move it from room to room if need be, or take it and on the go. If we were in the car somewhere, I could put it on the way. So I just run the spoolie back through those. And then the eyeshadow palette that I'm using and have been using since Christmas time is this one. It is the Tarte Clay Play Face Shaping Palette. My husband got this for me for Christmas. It is like a neutral lover's dream. It smells like chocolate too, which is really nice. So I've been using that. And the colors that I'm going to go with today are the middle colors here. And I'm going to use the 3 that they come with. If you are not a very creative person, this is a palette for you. If you're not the type to want lots of different color and you don't like to experiment with color, or maybe your job doesn't let you have color, this palette is just a good neutral. It comes with lots of different neutrals for you to try out, and they make it really handy because they're set in 3s. So it's really easy to be able to just pick up and go with what you need. Most commonly, I will use 3 brushes. I use 1 shade for my lighter colors, 1 for my darker colors, and 1 for blending. And you'll see when I go to put this on, I think this is Eye Makeup 101, but it's going to look a little bit harsh until you blend it out. Don't freak out about that. I'm going to zoom you in just a little bit so that way you can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm starting with my brush for lighter colors here, and I'm going right into that second shade. It's called Sand, and it's super pigmented, so you don't need a whole lot of it. But I'm going right into that, and I'm looking into my mirror here, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. But it's just a good lighter color. My eyelids are fairly dark, and so I like to be able to just lighten them up a little bit, and this kind of lays down a base, and I put it all over. I love that this smells like chocolate. It smells so good. And again, the more you play with a palette, the more you know your eyes. And that's something that I wanted to talk about too, is eye shape. Everybody is born with a different eye shape, and one of the hardest things is trying to figure out what eye shape you have and which one is going to work best for you. I read something one time where if you look directly in a mirror, if you can see the bottoms of your eye, like the actual iris part of your eye, then you have more round eyes. And I would totally agree with that. I think my eyes are very round. If you can't see like the tops or bottoms of your iris, then usually that means you have more of an almond shaped eye, which is a lot of fun. Both of them I like to play with, and I like to do both with, but I like to give myself a little bit more of a wing to my eyeshadow, just because I feel like it helps give me a little bit more of an elongated look. So you'll see as I keep going, it's not anything complicated. But I've just applied that first shade all over. And all of these colors are matte as well. I love playing with shimmers too though, so it really just depends on what you're after. I'm going to take this little transition shade that's called Dunes. That's my next color. And I'm just going to tap off the excess just so we don't have any fallout underneath, which I haven't put on concealer yet, so it'll look different afterwards. But I'm going to take this just in the crease of my eye. You want to feel like right where that bone, the orbital bone, starts. And just windshield wiper motion that with my darker brush so that you're kind of blending as you go along. We'll go back and blend some more afterwards. But again, this is just kind of quick application, something you can do when you're getting ready in the morning. A lot of times I would leave it just at this 2-color eyeshadow application, but I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to go ahead and take the darkest color, Smoke. I'm going to put that in the very outer third, and again, just tapping off the excess. I am going to take that in this outer third, and you can see how I'm just kind of messily patting it with the darker brush that I used, right where I get to that orbital bone. And then I'm going to take my blending brush that doesn't have anything on it, and I'm just going to blend. I'm going to soften up those edges ever so slightly and just blend. I hope you can see this. We'll go back and we'll be cleaning up with some concealer too in just a little bit, but I just wanted you to see how I'm blending that part. I'm going to do on the opposite side, again, just messily patting. And you can always, I like to start light and build my way up. But by going in this outer third, we kind of concentrate the darker shadow outside and we keep the lighter portion on the inside. And it just helps to elongate my eye just a bit where I have very round eyes. There we go. And then I'm going to take my blending brush and just blend. And I have found too that usually one of your eyes is going to be different than the other. Like one of them is going to be easier to do than the other, at least is what I have found. So I'm going to stop there. And like I said, I can go into more detailed eye looks. This is just like everyday, kind of quick, get ready with me. I'm using a liquid liner. Sometimes my favorite thing to use is a gel liner, but you also use a little brush with that. So again, not fast enough for me right now. So I've just been using this liquid liner. It is by Jordana. It's a cheap eyeliner, but it stays in place very, very well. And I have found that I like to just lay it on its side and I can do it a lot easier. So I can't talk and do this at the same time, but I kind of stamp it as I go along. And then about halfway through, I switch the direction. And you're wanting to get as close to your lash line as possible. Like you really don't want to have anything where you can see your eyelashes. And I have blonde eyelashes, so it's really easy for me to see like that eyelash line, but we're going to help cover that up in just a minute too. But I like to go all the way in to the innermost part of my eye. And I found too that I really kind of like to go at an angle just a little bit, not exactly like a cat eye, but my eyes, if I followed the eyeliner completely down on the end, it would kind of bring my eye down. So at the very end, I go up just ever so slightly just to help pull my eye upwards. And I like a thinner line. It just totally depends on you, what you like the best. You almost want to be fighting your eyelashes the whole time though to like get it as close to the eyelash line. But because, you know, we're human, that's okay to make mistakes. This makeup, it should be fun. I am going to take, this is a pencil. I don't think these are even made anymore by Bobbi Brown. It's a black, just eyeliner pencil that stays fairly well. And I'm going to do what's called tight lining, where I just go underneath my eyelid there, just to help cover up that lash line. So I'm just going to stick this underneath my eyelid and kind of close it as if you were doing it on the bottom rim, but just on the top. Just like so. And that helps to get the eyeliner on both sides. From there, I'm going to go to my concealer. My favorite concealer at the moment is the Boing Brightening Concealer. It used to be called Erase Paste if you were a Benefit fan a long time ago. Not even a long time ago. This has been like in the last 3 months, 4 months. And this is a pinky shade concealer. And pink shades kind of counteract bluey tones or like darker tones. So I like to start off with this one at least. And I kind of bring it down around my nose and I just pat with my finger. Again, if I'm in a big hurry, a cheaper drugstore alternative that I will use is the Maybelline Age Rewind, Instant Age Rewind. And they have a couple of different colors of this, but this one is called, I think it's the Brightener, and it's pinky tone too. And that's just a quick application of it, but I will use this. Concealer is one of my favorite things because it just brightens the whole look up. This is shade number 1 of the Boing Brightening Concealer, but they make tons of different shades. I crease underneath my eyes really badly. It's something that I struggle with. So what I will do is kind of let it sit and warm up on my skin just a little bit, and then I go back with a powder to help set it. Otherwise, if I don't, things will start moving throughout the day, and then I get darkness underneath my eyes from my mascara, and it will look muddy and make my eyes look really dark. So I just let this do its thing and sit for a little bit. One thing I didn't mention before I got started, the only thing that I had on my face was I had Origins Ginseng Refreshing Eye Cream. This is fine. I just had a sample of it, so I've been using it. It's not anything to write home about, but it's been fine. And then I had the face cream, the Origins Ginseng Moisturizer. These came in a set at Christmas. My favorite moisturizer is the Fresh Youth Lotus Preserve moisturizer. It smells amazing and it does amazing. This has been fine too, but again, as far as making your makeup last, I have found even with oily people, you need something on your skin to start off with. You need a moisturizer. Because again, at the end of the day, if all of your makeup is gone, a lot of that is your skin drinking whatever was on your face. And so if you're not giving it something to drink in like your moisturizer, then it's eating your makeup. So your skin just needs that hydration, even if it's oily. It gives it a chance to like suck it up. And so I like put that on, brush my teeth, go about my morning, and then come in and actually do my makeup after that. Back to concealer. I've just finished the concealer. And now I am going to do a little bit of bronzing and blush, and then we'll come back and do mascara. But I'm going to go back to my little eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to use this middle shade again right underneath the eyes that I did. So that's convenient. And I'm using a bronzer brush for this. This is the Bobbi Brown bronzer brush, and I do love it. It's not cheap, but it's wonderful. And I'm going to start in the middle and just bronze up the skin and under the neck. And I just find that bronzer gives you the nicest healthy look. If you are looking like you need some sunshine, bronzer goes a long way. I just find I look so pale without it and just not as healthy. So yeah, I do what's kind of like the number 3. I'll go up onto my forehead here, onto my cheekbones, and then under my jawline. And I make sure just to blend it out really, really well. And I like to hit just the top of my nose too, just because if I were out in the sunshine, that's where I would get sun. So that's all good and blended. I'm gonna go back to my powder now and do that. And again, I have another little brush from Bobbi Brown. This is the sheer powder brush, and I do love it. It's just very like petite and perfect for powder. And I've got the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil, and I do really like that for underneath my eyes. I usually just swirl in the cap, and then I look up and I put this underneath my eyes first to help lock in that concealer. On the forehead. And I just look up to really get it all the way up to my lash line. And just kind of dust the high points where you get shiny. I don't really love to get my cheeks because my cheeks don't get shiny, mostly just my T-zone. And I should say too, I have pretty normal skin. Occasional like T-zone oiliness, but that's pretty much it. And then blush is one of my favorite steps too. I have this blush pan from Bobbi Brown that I've had for forever. My favorite shade in here was discontinued. It's called Nude Pink. But the one that's up here, Pale Pink, looks really scary in the pan. When you see it in person, it's like, oh, it's the color that Kate Middleton actually wore on her wedding day. And I'm a big Kate Middleton fan. So anyways, Pale Pink is the name of it. I'm going to use that, and I'm just going to go on the apples of my cheeks. And I find I like blush, number one, but I find that, again, it tends to decrease a little bit as the day goes on. So I like to do just a little bit more than what I would normally. And then by the time I get wherever I'm going, it looks good. And I'll do just a little bit on my nose too. But blush goes a long way. It just makes you look healthy, in my opinion. I'm getting towards the end. I curl my eyelashes. I have really stick straight eyelashes. They like to kind of like point downwards. So I curl them. This is a Tarte eyelash curler. I really like this one. I also really like the Shiramura, I think that's how you say it, eyelash curler. Both of them are wonderful, but this is the one I've been using lately. And I will just take this one, and I usually hold it for like around 7 or 8 seconds a piece. And at the same time that I'm curling my eyelashes, I get my mascara and I'll hold it in my hand, which I know is weird, but it's just something that I do to help warm the mascara up. And for some reason, I feel like it goes on better whenever I do it that way. So I'm just doing the other eyelash really quick. And then I'm going to apply a little bit of mascara. And by the way, this is the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. Sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing, can you? Mascara. And it is wonderful. It's a drugstore mascara. But I am thoroughly pleased. I don't have the longest eyelashes in the world, but I find that this helps hold my curl. And then to finish off the look, a lot of times if I'm just bumming around the house, I won't have anything on my lips except for a chapstick. But today I'm putting on MAC's Patisserie lipstick. This is just like a good your lips but better. And that's it. I find that I can typically do my makeup in about 10 or 15 minutes. And like I said, if I'm just like on the go, then I'll just do concealer, a cream blush, and mascara. So I'll use that same mascara that I did earlier. The concealer that I use will either be the Bling Brightening or even the Maybelline Age Rewind. I do like the Bling Brightening just a little bit more. I feel like it just has a little bit more oomph behind it, but this one's great on the go too. And then the cream blush that I use is this one by Becca. It is the Becca Beach Tint. This is in the shade Guava. And I think they still make these. But any cream blush will do, but it's just something I can easily do all of it with my hands, and it just gives a big difference to my overall appearance. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that that helped you out. If you would like to see more of like a party look or a specific look, then let me know. I love makeup. I love playing with makeup. I'm happy to go through and give you a little bit more in depth. But I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!